able to put your touch on Colors of the Wind, which was, the track that featured Braxton on flute, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes, sir.
Flute. That was pretty cool. How long have you been playing flute? Like, is it a pretty consistent double for you?
Honestly, I really do like the flute a lot. The flute, I need to just, I'm going to keep it a stack. I need to invest a little bit more in my flute. I got this, I got a flute off eBay, for school, 5 years ago. Yeah, and it's cool, but I think it is definitely time to invest in a newer one, just because, I don't know, it's a little busted, so I don't practice it as much, you know what I mean?
Sure.
It's one of those instruments you really got to maintain, because if it's leaking, it's just no fun, bro. So yeah, I gotta get on that. But to answer your question, I've been playing flute since, I guess, freshman year of school, so 2011. I didn't grow up playing flute or do it in high school, middle school, or anything like that. It came as soon as I got to school, because we had to double. I've always liked it way more than clarinet, and it's it's nice, it's pretty. Flute sounds amazing.
Yeah, seriously. No, I mean, you certainly couldn't tell anything about the flute, and it sure goes to show that, it's the person behind the instrument, not the instrument itself, because I tell you, y'all, if I could play all y'all for the, however many takes that Braxton sent me, to check out, it was really hard to decide what I wanted to use because it was all so great. I mean, I could do 3 different remixes where all right, here's this vibe, and then we got all these different ones because it was just so great. And also as a band leader, and someone who was thinking about producing the track, it also meant a lot that we were able to converse and just be really real about the conversation about, what we needed, and then I'm like, hey, how could you do a little da-da-da here and da-da-da here?
Bro,
I like that,
do I more. Appreciate the specificity, my bro. I appreciate that, honestly. You're like, yo, at letter G, I want you to come in, low, and then hit that high. It's great. I knew exactly what to do, As opposed to just, I could have given you 4 random takes of just me playing all over the, Christy and Mark, and it worked out perfect because everything was so detailed.
Oh man, I mean, you really nailed the vibe, I mean, CV was like, man, you sure it needs something else? I was like, man, trust me, this is gonna be
the wind, man. A flute, that's perfect.
Exactly, and that's why he's really nice. And then I'm like, Braxton, I'm gonna need some pentatonic, okay? We're gonna have to imagine a little wooden flute here, very. But it works and it's cool, and I like that. You write songs, from listening to your music, it's the difference, I think, between your sort of run-of-the-mill jazz musician and a musician, is just the understanding of not only just the shape of one solo, but the shape of a song, and appreciation for that. And man, playing, just really nailed that in the way in which it was able to sort of develop and build over the tune. I mean, yeah, it's really special.
Dude, thank you, bro. I appreciate that. I've always liked that in players, whether I was just listening to Joshua Redman the other day, and I was like, man, this fool knows how to tell a story, bro. And his songs, that's the stuff that stands the test of time, compositions.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the vibe.
Even down to, Charlie Parker knew how many choruses to take. Sure, he might have been limited by, the vinyls back then, but I think that he knew, I think he knew how many choruses to take, though. There was always something about where that sort of, what's that golden ratio point in the song, where it's got a tip.
Totally.
He sort of knew how to find that place and to make it really, be a thing.
That's it. It's true.
But, yeah, man, no, it's just such a pleasure that it was able to work out. And we're so lucky in this digital age in that I'm able to send you, a track, and you're able to send a bunch of stuff back. It's definitely not the way it used to be.
Not at all. But you're right. It's great. It's great. I can just do it right here at my house. Super chill, man. It's really nice. And that's, it's funny. It's you asked earlier, I guess, to go back to the very first question, was how my process has changed. I guess digitally, having these technological advancements of just being able to put a studio in a little small studio, whether it's a mic interface and a couple speakers for under G. It's you can record yourself and do a lot. So I did a lot actually of pre-production for my last project here at the house, man. So I created to most of the songs on the album, I created tracks at the crib, made them, and then either used some of the same stems on the songs, or we just played to those tracks and recreated them. So yeah, it's become a really important part of the process, honestly, to hear what the final product or hear what it's supposed to be beforehand, before we got to the studio, before I've invested, whatever.
Oh, absolutely, especially with with what studio time costs, and that was really the one
messing
thing that
around,
I was
bro.
missing. Yeah, man. I mean, the pre-production. You're so right, though, that we can create like a whole, very usable, potentially, sketch before we get in, and just the value of what that tells you. It's like, sort of I'm not into the NFL, but I think about the sky cam in terms of like that. To me, once I've got it, it's like looking from the top of the field as opposed to being where the quarterback is. It's real easy to see the field if you're looking down. A little harder looking over some 6'6" linemen.
That's a fact.
But yeah,
it helps with everything. I was like, you're able to people do like a track list beforehand, and the BPMs if you're playing a click. You just kind of have like a lot of stuff like already organized that way, and the idea of how you want the whole thing to flow. And then you can let the solos happen like in the moment at the studio, and that may change things. But that's right. I think that's a good way of working on things. I think nowadays.
Right, for sure. And do you compose that way too? In terms of it's probably pretty easy for you to be able to record, a progression that you like, and then sort of your melodic ideas over top. I imagine that was part of your composition as well.
Yeah, I would say like. For a lot of the vocal songs, I think a lot of those I kind of pre-produce. I would say no. Okay, all of them start on the piano. All of them start there, and I sing something and then a voice memo, and then we go. If it's like a song where I'm like kind of creating lyrics and everything, and I start hearing a groove, then I'll go and like produce a full track or whatever on I'm producing Logic, and then for anything like acoustic, like I remember No Doubt. I remember just like hearing this groove, and I kind of scattered that groove, and I just scattered it over a voice memo, and then I started humming a melody, and then from there it started kind of putting chords under that, and so I kind of created. I didn't even make a track for that one. That one I just completely did via voice memos. Yeah,
that's amazing. That's great, man. Sometimes that's like where it's at. I'll be in the car, and you're like, oh man, I've got this idea. Let me just take this down real quick.
That's exactly it, bro. It sounds crazy. Like, I actually just heard that melody. That's weird. Because it's really notey. It's a lot of notes, but I don't know why I heard that melody. Yeah.
Man, and you write some great melodies too, man. Like I said, I'm really into your album. All my friends too are into it too, and my non-musicians, you should know, that I've been able to put on. And that to me is like the ultimate. Those are the ones we really need.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man, they're going to come to the show. They're going to buy something.
Right, yeah.
That's a fact.
What was it Art Blakey said? You got to bring your square friends, man, because they're the ones that got the bread. But, yeah, man, no, it's just, we're so lucky to have this process and, like, to be able to, to network in the way that we are, I mean, when you really look down, just the fact that we were able to get in touch. I mean, back in the 50s and stuff, I'd had to call your mom's house. She'd have to be like, Braxton, right? And all this stuff. So, yeah, man. But it just really means a lot, that you took the time.
Yeah, bro. This is the beginning,
to do it.
We're going to work on some more stuff, no doubt.
I would really love to, especially as I've been getting my, I saw when you got that Apollo Twin, man. I was like, woo, let's go. Because that was the first thing that sort of started my slippery slope here at the Crab Shack to get my studio going. But it's cool, and now that I've, invested, I'm ready to crank some tunes out. So, yeah, it would definitely be a pleasure, man. I hope we can make some more stuff together.
Oh, yeah, bro. For sure.
And I think with that,
together, bro.
Yeah, I know, right? I think with that, man, like, let's just remind folks, like where they can find your music. Do you want to tell them about all your pages and this and that, where they can find you?
Oh, for sure, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know all the pages, but I tell you what, you can follow me and you can follow me on Instagram at Braxton Cook, and then Twitter, I believe, is just twitter.com/Braxton Cook. Facebook is facebook.com/Braxton Cook Music. And then check out my website where you can find all of that plus tour dates and stuff at braxtoncook.com.
Awesome. Yeah, man. And again, check out the track, that Braxton was on for our new record. We're going to play a little bit of it for you here after we, hang up. But again, he was blessed this track, Colors of the Wind, that also features our DMV friends, Miss Christy DeShiel, who was singing, and my co-arranger, good friend and pianist Mark G. Meadows, along with the homie Chris Monson holding down the low end on the bass. And man, it just came out great. This was one of our singles, so you can find it on Spotify. You can find it on Apple Music. You know, all of the places, it'll be there. And
right.
it just this tune meant a lot to me, man, and just that, you know, the message of it, and that's really why it made the record. You know, the more that I was looking at the news and stuff, I mean, I feel like it's just so relevant for where we are as a society today, and that the song is basically like, hey, can we be nice to each other in the world, please? Like, no matter what, you know, no matter what we look like, you know, can we just kind of, you know, be nice to each other and care about Mother Earth? And so those are certainly two things I think that we could use a little more of. So, and yeah, man, you just really nailed the vibe, and thank you so much, man. I mean, it's again, it's truly a pleasure. And thank you all for listening. You've been listening to Braxton Cook. Again, he's featured on Colors of the Wind. You can find it on any of your digital distributors. You can find Braxton on his website. It'll be in the information below this podcast. Braxton, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for having me, man.
And thanks to Tomas and Tomasian Entertainment for curating the podcast. This has been Front of the Line with Jack Kilby, and we'll talk to you all again soon. Take care.
Jack Kilby and the Frontline's debut release, Love is a Song Anyone Can Sing, is available now online for immediate download and for streaming on all your favorite streaming services.